I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Try to get a good.
Thank you. Welcome to the safest place in Albany. I'll tell you what, they confiscate our guns, they confiscate our freedom. That is never going to happen. You know, those of you that know me, I'm pretty blunt, and I'm going to be blunt today.
That's the only thing I read there.
And very rare do I read comments. I usually go off the cuff, but there's so much to be said. Bear with me, if you would, for a few minutes. I just want to say it's just great to be here with all you today. Freedom-loving Americans that honor their Constitution and value their rights and freedoms. Thank you for being here. It's a little cold, it's a little windy, but we're New Yorkers, we're tough, and you know what? It was pretty cold at Valley Forge, too. And they stood up to the cold, and they stood up to tyranny, and we're going to do the same thing. We owe them that respect, we owe them that honor, we owe them everything. So we're going to stand here, we're going to brave this, and we're going to be patriots, and we're going to do this peacefully. Let me just tell you this. This was by far my most difficult week in Albany. Those of us here on stage in elected office, we stood up for you and your rights, and our best efforts were defeated, but this battle is not over. It has just begun. And I want to say, for those of you that called and emailed and wrote and commented on those YouTube videos, and I hope you saw those. And anybody that messaged me, I just want to tell you on the bottom of my heart, we got buried. There was about 1,000 phone calls and emails. We'd hang up the phone and ring again. And on behalf of me and all the elected officials that you reached out to, thank you, because I can tell you this. For people with courage and honor, Albany can be a lonely place. But I don't work for this governor, and I don't work for that building. I work for you. I want to take a moment and just implore you. I am sure and I pray that everyone in this crowd and everyone that can hear my voice is registered to vote. And if you are not, there's no shame in that, but fix it. Register to vote. Make sure your friends, your families, your cousins, your nephews, your nieces, your grandchildren, the person you see at Stewart's getting coffee, make sure they're registered to vote, because this proves how important the votes are, doesn't it? We talked a lot about violence with guns. I don't call it gun violence, it's violence with guns. We talked a lot about that this week, but you know what happened this week? Political violence happened this week. Political bullying ruled the day. Bills that were rushed through with no debate in the Senate. And despite our valiant efforts in the Assembly, we knew the foregone conclusion in that chamber. But we stood up and we fought. Bills that very few read and even fewer understood. This was not democracy. This was not good government. This definitely was not transparency. This was an abuse of power. This was fueled by ego and bravado, and from a man that wanted to do something first so that he could have bragging rights across the country. From a man that wanted to be president but now never will. Because the citizens of this state and the citizens of this nation were watching, and they took notice, and they will not let it happen to them. I want to read an email that I saw from someone, and it points out something very important here. It said, maybe if guns were being outlawed, I would find protest appropriate, but I'll never need the type of gun that's being banned. And since I had to jump through hoops for a handgun permit anyway, I see no harm in passing a criminal background check. So I support reinstating the ban from 2004 against all assault weapons. Until they come for hunting or handguns, I'm okay with it. I would say this. For those who think this is okay, or it's not my issue, or I don't own guns that are being banned, or I don't own guns at all, let me say this. I would respectfully say they are mistaken. This is every American's issue. If the government feels they can abuse this right, the Second Amendment, how much hesitation will they have to remove all of our rights? It is the Second Amendment that supports all of the other rights and freedoms we enjoy. And Mr. Tom King from New York Rifle and Pistol wants me to mention there's no media coverage here except for YNN and a couple of photographers. Where is the media? There's guys taking pictures. I'll give them credit.
It'll be on YouTube, don't worry.
Let me just tell you for a minute about the governor's website. Have you seen this? The question and answers. Did you notice the questions are this big and the part on criminal penalties is this big on that website? Did you notice that? Let me just say this. You should go there and should check it out. But let me just give you the way I would have finished some of the questions on there. Here's one. What if I have a magazine that contains more than 10 rounds? The answer is you can permanently modify the magazine so that it holds no more than 10 rounds, responsibly discard it, or sell it to a dealer or an out-of-state purchaser by January of 2014. Let me just finish that. Quote, of course you should be aware that the criminals will pay no attention to this new law, and you will probably be at a severe disadvantage when your life is on the line. When I debated on this floor, when I debated on the floor of that bill. Speak up, I can't, I'm yelling at the crowd. Here we go. When I debated this bill on the floor, and I asked why we are diminishing the people's right to defend themselves by 30% by lowering from 10 to 7 rounds, you know what the answer was? Change the clip. And I said to you what I say to them. You tell that to my people. You tell that to the people I represent in this rural area of upstate New York. A single mom who may be home alone with her children at night and 3 animals break into that house. What do you want to do? Call timeout so you can reload? Let's pass that law. How about that? We'll pass a timeout law that the criminals have to obey so you can reload. And of course we know that's stupid. You know why? Because criminals don't obey the law.
No kidding!
We rushed this bill through. Do you know why? Not because they were proud of it. Government never moves this fast, except when they're taking away your rights.
That's right!
They rushed this through because they were not proud of it. And they knew that they'd have this on this lawn if they stood up and had the courage to do it in daylight hours and give you the time to respond to what's going on in Albany.
And where's Cuomo today?
I say shame on this assembly. Shame on the legislature, shame on the Senate, and shame on this governor for doing this to the people of New York without giving it the proper respect it deserves, without giving it the debate it deserves. You cannot legislate evil people bent on destruction. You cannot legislate morality. You cannot make people safer by making criminals stronger. But you sure as hell can defend yourself against those animals. And you have every right to do that. And you should not be limited in your ability to do so. By lowering those limits to 7 in a magazine, you have diminished our right to defend ourselves, and I say, how dare they? How dare this governor do that to the people of New York State? Let me say this, we will not yield. We will not break. We will grow stronger by the day throughout this state and this nation because law-abiding, Constitution-respecting, freedom-loving Americans are now engaged like never before. Thank you, darling. The media is here. Thank you. The governor did not weaken us. He awakened us. He did not defeat us. He strengthened us. A people that do not possess the right to bear arms are no longer citizens. They are subjects. I choose, we choose to be free citizens of these United States. Listen to my voice, Governor. Listen to the voice of a nation that loves their liberty. No one in the Assembly, no one in the Senate, no one in the governor's office is fit to shine the boots of the founding fathers of this nation. How dare you trample on the Constitution? How dare you infringe upon the rights of American citizens? Those rights were not granted by any man or any government. They are granted by God, and they are inalienable. They are ours. They are our birthright as Americans. We will not stand idly by and have them diminished. Clear eyes, full hearts, America cannot lose. Freedom cannot lose. God bless the freedom-loving and law-abiding citizens of America. And thank you so much for being here.
Freedom. You can't say it enough. Can I hear it again?
Freedom!
How about one more time?
Freedom!
How about one more time?
Freedom!
Oh, isn't it pretty? I love that word. Let me tell you something.